nothing to be feared because it's not about whether human intelligence or machine intelligence is going to take over. It's really how they come together. And I think AI is going to augment human intelligence. And so I asked him straight up. I said, based on your presentation and all these things that I'm in marketing, and my team and I use Gen AI every day. So are we working ourselves out of a job? And he said no. So I was relieved. Still have a job, and we'll have a job for quite some time. But more importantly, he said every job is going to be affected by Gen AI, and it basically makes the human intelligence much better. And so I think for brokerage, if there's one thing I've learned over the years, is it's a relationship business. And Gen AI isn't going to replace the relationships. It really can't. It only does what we tell it to do, and it doesn't have that creative intelligence. It doesn't feel, it doesn't have empathy for what it is that we need to do together and collectively. And so I think our jobs are safe. So anyway, let's hear from the expert. So please welcome Christoph Burkhardt.
This is Connect the Dots, the AI Impact Podcast. I'm Christoph Burkhardt. Welcome to the show.
First, this is not a fight of humans versus machines, but it's about the question of how we use machines to augment, to make better what we're already doing. And I want to start here because every kind of paradigm shift that humans have been going through, technology-driven ones especially, offers the opportunity that there are three doors that you can go through. There's one that's a slight open right now. So the AI door is kind of open. We can go through, we don't know really what's behind that door, and that's every time, that's the case. We don't know what's behind that door. The question, though, is not whether we are going through that door. The question is always just when and how. And this is pretty much your task. Transportation is a very old business, a very old industry, and you've gone through all the paradigm shifts that technology has driven. And now we're facing the next one. The question is not whether we go through the door, but how and when. And this is really what we're trying to figure out, and this is what I want to talk about. Have you been to an Amazon Go store? So they've been around for a while. There have been 6 in San Francisco, where I live. And the idea is that people actually like stores. Amazon, it's like, no, we don't need stores anymore. We eliminate all of them. Okay, cool. And then they say, oh, well, actually, in some respects, people like stores. Right? Oh, people still like cars. People like driving cars, too. But they like stores. What they don't like is waiting in line to pay. So we have to somehow get rid of this. So use technology. So the entire ceiling of this store is packed with sensors and cameras. So you walk in, it detects your face in the next generation. Right now, you still have to log in with a QR code because people don't want to be detected by their faces yet because we haven't gone through that door. But we will all get used to, in China, they already have Smile to Pay. Have you heard of that? Smile to Pay. So you go to the cashier and you just smile into the camera. That's your payment because you have a face. Why would you use anything? You don't need credit cards. The credit card that's an idea like a signature. That will go away because we needed that for a while, but we don't need that anymore because we have a face. Amazon uses your face, and everything you pick up from the shelves, you just put it in your basket and you walk out. There is no payment process, there's no line to wait in, and you don't have to interact with any human. Everything is in your Amazon account because we can track everything. So this is AI being used to eliminate one aspect, waiting. Now, wherever people are waiting, AI really makes a difference. And I don't want to wait for anything, anywhere. If your company is not using AI to make yourself faster, you're going to look like a company that still uses fax machines. The expectations of customers are changing incredibly fast. And one of the examples is Waymo, the driverless cars in San Francisco. They've been around since 2019, but in the last 2 years, they've really taken over. And they cost the same as Uber, and they drive around. And I'm going to show you one in a second. But people got used to having these around within weeks. All the doubts, like I can never be in a car. Like a year ago, my friends, I can never be in a car where there's no human driver to interact. What? No, the computer is driving this car? I'm not going to get in that. A year ago, out of a sudden, they rolled us out, and within 3 weeks, everybody is totally fine driving around with them. People get used to things very, very fast, just like we got used to smartphones and emails. And that's how we get used to AI being everywhere, and that changes our expectations of pace and speed. Netflix is doing something similar. changing expectations. And this one is a tough one. So you know, when you watch Netflix, you're training algorithms in the background. I don't need to tell you that. Recommendation algorithms have been around for a long time. Amazon uses the same thing to recommend products. Spotify recommends music. Netflix recommends movies. So we have predictive maintenance. Of course, we have that everywhere in your field too. Deutsche Bahn in Germany has rolled out that for the entire train system. They're checking every train with AI and do predictive maintenance on every part of a train, because the train system is very important in Germany. But you can use this for a human body. And this is where things get interesting, because we see these use cases in one area, and then we see smart people taking them from one case to another industry. What we're talking about here is digital twins that have been used for entire systems, for entire organizations. So you build a digital copy of that organization, and now you can test, you can simulate what happens if you reorganize certain teams. Right now, Siemens Mobility is doing this with the Norwegian railway system. They built an entire digital twin of the entire railway system, and they run certain simulations of how to make this more efficiently, how to make it run smoothly, how to have trains organized around all of Norway. It's the same thing, the same AI. It's patterns, predictions, and feedback. And the net effect right now is mostly efficiency, but you can do a lot of fun things with that. We all want digital twins of ourselves, right? Like I'm training about 3 to 4 right now. I want them to answer most of my emails. I don't want to look at emails that I don't need to look at. I want them to manage my social media fully automatically. I don't want to reply to every comment that I get. AI can do that. I want to focus on what makes me human. And that is the connection to other humans. That's the only thing that we do in the end. Everything we do is we move things, and yeah, of course, we do a lot of things, but ultimately, everything we do is for another human being. The idea here was get a human designer, a human car designer, and an AI together to design this car. And the job of the AI was remove as much material as you can to make this the lightest supercar ever. And the part of the human designer was figure out that this car still is fun to drive, and it looks like a supercar, so humans will actually want it. And in the interaction between the two, this came out. And the reason why we still need a human designer is because Mercedes said, well, you sit in this car, you want to feel this car, you feel the vibration, and what this is experience. Humans experience the world. Machines don't. Machines don't know how it feels to sit in this room right now. Machines don't know how it feels to come to an AI keynote and be super tired. That's an experience only humans have. And in the interaction between the machine and the human, you can create things that we couldn't before, because yes, this is the lightest supercar ever built. And it's the most sustainable supercar we've ever had. And of course, it's way too expensive to build, so we will never see this on the road. But it's a cool idea that humans have creative intelligence. We are creative. We create things. AI is generative. It's not creative. Everything it creates or generates is based on past things we've already seen. Humans have imagination. We can imagine a world that does not exist. AI can only imagine things that have existed before and recombine it. We have an element here where two intelligences, if they work together, can, in collaboration, create things we've never seen before. That's an incredible, powerful move. And this is why this is such a big paradigm shift. But this collaboration has to be designed in a way where we understand what makes human the best humans and what makes machines good at what they're doing. So Waymo just released data last week that in San Francisco, the rate of accidents of a Waymo car is 85% lower than a regular driver. Now, and the interesting thing is if you look at Waymo, of course it doesn't do anything else but look at the driver driving, learn from the driver how to drive a car, so it drives like a human, just better. And the reason is, of course, this car has 10,000 years of driving experience, and this explains the difference between human intelligence and machine intelligence. Because every time the driver of this car trains the car and that car learns a mistake and learns how to do it better, it uploads that mistake and the learning to all other cars. So they're instantly learning from each other. Humans don't do that. right? When we learn how to drive a car, we have to start from scratch, and we only learn the things that we learn on the road, but only our road. If we get thrown in a new situation, we have to figure it out based on things we know, but we have not been trained by other drivers to do what they've learned. So their intelligence is very collective. Our intelligence is absolutely unique. And ultimately, the difference between a human driver and this driver is the scale of experience they've had on the road. And yes, they're autonomous, and yes, they're all connected, and this is great, but you see a fascinating side effect of this being a better driver. We will not have human drivers on the road. They are better drivers. Why are they friendly? Well, they're trained to be friendly because Google cannot afford to have Waymo cars go around and be aggressive drivers. That would look really bad, and humans would not take it. But what happens when humans meet a Waymo on the street? Well, they become reckless because Waymo is trained to be so careful that, yes, when I see a Waymo go up the street and I want to cross that road, I know it's seen me. It sees me from blocks away because of that radar technology, and it knows I'm there, so it will stop no matter what. So I can jump in front of a Waymo. I would not do that with a human driver. If I'm a cyclist, I can cycle in front of a Waymo for hours, and it will not try to go by me. It will stay behind me, and the passengers of that Waymo car will go crazy because they have to be behind me the entire time, but it will not risk going after a bicyclist. This is crazy, but they're friendly because we're not. And ultimately, it shows you that the humans are the real problem here. What we're afraid of in AI is not the problem. We are the problem. AI is a tool. It's just a tool. And it's a great tool, and it's fun to look at, but it's a tool like this. And the problem is that reality looks more like this. So the tool is great, but it certainly will fail in most aspects. And this is the first time in history where we have tools that can be shaped to the reality we live in. But the reality is messy. You know, if you want to shave ginger, this is not a great tool to use. And you can't change reality that easily, but we can change the tool. So the question is, how do you adapt the tool to the reality? And it will look like this in many cases for AI. And ultimately, the only thing we can do is explore the possibilities, look for the opportunities that we have, and understand that excitement around AI is right now approaching the peak. And this is the time where we create the most ambassadors for a technology. Because there will be a time when the excitement goes down, and this is where real disruption is going to happen. And this brings me back to the door that we all have to go through. And your job is to figure out how you want that to happen in transportation. And for that, I wish you all the best and good luck. Thank you so much.